Hey everybody, Bryan, Kilo Bravo 9, Uniform Zulu Oscar with the Eastern Colorado Repeater Association here in Peyton, Colorado. It's been a while since we did a video, so let's update you guys on a few things here. So System 1, VHF 1, as this lower repeater right here is online. It's been online for almost 2 weeks now, fully. And if you've seen our last video, we've got the antenna tower and the hard line for the VHF system all wrapped up and good to go. Everything's installed. And everything's going pretty decent. I want to say perfect. With every repeater build out that I've been involved with, there's always gremlins, one way or another. And the thing with RF is that it can be challenging. There's a reason why the big clubs and organizations and amateur radio on the Front Range haven't tackled the Eastern Plains, because it's not easy. Now you might think, well, sure it is. The plains are flat. The plains don't have, terrain issues, geographical issues, etc., etc. They do, okay? And as a side note, the Front Range repeater systems, there are several really great ones. And there are several who, they're decent, but they claim these outrageous 150-mile plus coverage. Nah, it's not. You can have a repeater on top of a mountain. Excellent. But the comparison between a mountaintop repeater and a plains-based organization like ECRA, it's not the same. The plains are not flat. The plains actually, and I would make the argument, have an even more difficult topography and geography for RF propagation. And that's the type of thing that ECRA is taking hand in hand and is taking that head on, if you would, that challenge. We knew it was not going to be easy. We knew it was not going to be great. So let's talk about some of the issues that we've had thus far with System 1, VHF 1, which is this repeater right here, some of the gremlins. Actually, let's talk about some of the our testing. So we do both twice a week. We do SINAD testing. We do repeater descents testing on the receiver. Again, that's VHF 1, which is a lower XBR 8300. That's our VHF repeater. The first week, the testing was a little bit slow just because we didn't have a lot of volunteer help that week. This week has been a little better, but we have found some issues. And first of all, some of those issues were not all in the RF chain. Behind me, you'll see, each ECRA system is System 1 is where we're at right now. This is our first operational system. System 2 is our future next system in Yuma, Colorado, which we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. We've got some great news on that. And System 3, which will be located in southeast Colorado. So up above me here, we have the Renogy inverter. Over here, we have a solar controller. This system is normally ran by utility AC power, DC with a backup, and we have solar panels outside. We have three 300-watt solar panels, and we have a 400 amp hour battery backup here. That's the repeater right now, IDing itself. Sorry about that. But make sure I had everything connected before I started. But we ran into some issues with the AC utility that runs on the west side of the shed here. Renogy, I'm not very happy with you, Renogy. They were cheap for a reason. Specifically, that inverter above me is the second inverter we've had that has failed in one way, shape, or form. So at the beginning of this week, what we found is we had EMI coming in on the AC utility line whenever the transfer switch would momentarily go over to DC side. And we found that odd that the transfer switch, which is internal to this inverter, was doing that. And what we found was that the transfer switch itself, the relay inside of it is starting to stick, and the contacts, once we opened it up, were getting pretty bad. So obviously this Renogy inverter cannot handle a simple repeater site like this one. So what we had to end up doing was disable the AC utility input to the inverter, and what we did instead, let me turn this around and kind of show you. You have to apologize the mess in here. We've been doing a lot of work, so apologies for that. This box right up here is a 50 amp battery charger made by Victron. Victron, folks, and if you hear this, Victron, you're good. We like Victron, which is going to be what we do next with the when we refurb this system, and System 2 and System 3 are future repeater systems. We're going to get Victron. We're not dealing with this Renogy garbage anymore. But back there's a 50 amp battery charger for the DC side. So what we decided to do is cut out AC utility altogether that once ran into the transfer switch that's internal to this inverter. And we have a big 50 amp Victron battery charger that you saw back there that keeps the battery bank topped off when the solar is not on or is not strong enough. And then the inverter, which requires DC to still operate, to actually function and turn on, feeds the inverter in turn. And we had that installed 2 days ago, and we'll post some pictures about that here. Actually, we'll post it down here below or right above here to see the pictures of the installation and whatnot. But anyways, we decided to go that route. That way we cut out all the AC garbage and even potential hash issues with AC utility. And so we have, again, a big Victron 50 amp charger back there that keeps the DC side happy when the solar is not working. Also works in conjunction with the solar, which is usually not, it doesn't do that anyways. Usually it's here like at nighttime. It's, what is it now? I can ask the repeater what time it is. I think it's 10 something, a little after 10 o'clock here, Mountain Standard Time. So that was the first issue we ran into. Second issue was that during our range testing, we would essentially driving out to eastern Colorado, and we have certain areas along that route, some major thoroughfares running within the coverage area of System 1 out in eastern Colorado, and doing RSSI tests that way. And they haven't been that great. Well, we started thinking it was, okay, we have repeater descents of the receiver and the repeater. And tonight we just ran several tests on the receiver, injected signals into both the receive port on the repeater itself, the receiver ports on the duplexers, and we took several readings, and we're gonna we'll have that report ready for the next ECRA meeting, which we usually have a meeting every month. We took a little break, so that's going to be announced. We'll share that report. So we've had some issues coming up, which we thought were at first repeater receiver descents issues. So far, it's actually turned out to be pretty healthy. So if folks recall, back in May of this year, we suffered a very near-miss lightning strike to the system. Lightning strike was about a little over 120 yards on this end, which is towards our east, and it did affect the VHF amplifier up this way, and it did take out some of the components within the VHF repeater, which I was able to replace. Unfortunately, Motorola parts are very expensive, but we were able to scrounge up with the help of some of our supporting ECRA founding members. Thank you to those guys. We have a plaque that's in appreciation to the ECRA founding member team that helped us get both a replacement VHF amplifier, and to get the components to repair the VHF repeater. And so I've already repaired the repeater's receiver section once. The repeater goes on the bench roughly every 2 months because about 95% of our equipment is donated. Only about 5% of that equipment, we'll talk about that in an upcoming video, is actually brand new. So we're dealing with used equipment as a brand new repeater association as ECRA. And so there's going to be issues. Both of these repeaters, the bottom one is the VHF, top one here is the UHF. They're used systems. So they've been through the ringer. So about every 2 months, I take the VHF repeater out because it's been going since the test was, the site was first initiated within its testing phase before it became fully operational. And I do service checks and tune-ups on the repeater as needed. I know for a fact that the receiver on the VHF repeater, every time it's been on the bench for service testing, it is slowly starting to go out of spec. So we're several kilohertz away still from being out of spec, but the receiver is aging, and quite frankly, the VHF repeater is going to need to be replaced at one point. But we do our very best here to keep things alive and keep things rebuilt and repaired as we can. So, but our test tonight with descents issues or possible descents issues on the VHF repeater, we didn't really come up with any desense issues. We feel now that it's the most likely the minimum height of our 60-foot tower plus the 10-foot mast plus the 22-foot VHF antenna. When we did our propagational modeling, and we did about a year worth of testing before ECRA was formally associated, showed that we had minimum 60-foot antenna tower height. There goes the repeater again. You see it key up right there. Oh, someone's actually talking, I think, using the system. But we had a pretty good, decent idea that 60-foot tower, 10-foot mast, 22-foot antenna was our bare minimum height for our initial receive coverage. Transmit side of the system is fantastic. We've gone as far right now, our test has brought us about 48, 49 miles of our coverage zone. And the transmit side of the system still wants to go another 30, 35 miles after that. The receive side, though, I think we're limited by height. That's what this all video is coming down to, the 11-minute, 10-second mark, is that I think right now that we don't have any receive desense issues in the VHF repeater. We probably need to go up as far as height, probably another 40 feet. But here's the thing, and people might be asking themselves, because those of you who have already looked at our website, follow us on other social media, et cetera, know that where we're at in Peyton, Colorado isn't the best location, but ECRA didn't have the money to put us on a commercial site. So we have to start somewhere, right? So we had to go, and we had a really fun time, actually. Matt, KD0QLY, ECRA's vice chairman, and several ECRA members came out and helped us fabricate the tower's pedestal. We'll do another video on that. And it took us 4 hard months to get everything and all the materials and stuff put together. But we are really limited by height, I think, still. So I think that's our crux right now. But anyways, so yeah, live from System 1 here, another 12-minute long video for you folks. But I hope you got something out of it. We'll have more videos coming out here shortly and show you more around both the repeater and the site and our different testing and all that good stuff. So, signing off with you, this is Bryan, Kilo Bravo 9 uniform, Zulu Oscar with the Eastern Colorado Repeater Association, saying 7-3 to you folks. Have a great week ahead. We'll talk to you later.